Hi, my name's Annabelle. Can you imagine what it's like to have to share everything with someone, even the way you look? Well, that's the story of my life because I have an identical twin sister called Sophie. When we were little, it was the coolest thing ever because we always wore matching clothes and everyone thought we were so adorable. Our mom used to enter us into these cute baby competitions, and we always won because we were double the cuteness. As we grew up, though, it became a bit annoying. No one ever called us Annabelle and Sophia. They just referred to us as the twins. We aren't as close as we used to be, and I think it's because we both have boyfriends now. My boyfriend Jamie and I have been together for almost 6 months so far, which is my longest relationship ever. He told me he loved me after only 1 week of dating. So I think maybe we'll be together forever. He's incredible. We go to different schools, so it has been really fun getting to know all his friends. The only problem is his ex-girlfriend is super jealous, and she keeps trying to break us up. One night, we were all at a party, and his crazy ex turned up and started telling everyone that I'm a terrible person and that she saw me the night before at the cinema with another guy, and that I'm cheating on Jamie. I was so upset that she would say something so ridiculous. But luckily, Jamie didn't believe her. I mean, we'd been at the park the night before, so obviously it wasn't me at the cinema. Part of me knows that it was probably Sophie and her boyfriend that she saw. But I haven't told Jamie about Sophie. I know that sounds ridiculous. She's my twin sister and my best friend. But the thing is, she's actually prettier than me. Her hair is more shiny and she never gets pimples, and she's much smarter than me too. I'm afraid if Jamie met her, he'd fall in love with her and break up with me. It's such a stupid insecurity of mine, but for now, I just don't want him to meet her. So far, their paths haven't crossed, and I'm hoping I can keep it that way for a while. Luckily, we don't all go to the same school, as I've already mentioned. Most days, Jamie and I meet up after school at our favorite park and go for a walk and chat about our day. He's so romantic and always brings me a chocolate bar or some wild flowers. One day, I went to the park and waited on our usual bench for him. After 30 minutes of waiting, I started to get worried that he wasn't coming. I'd left my phone at home, so I couldn't even text him to find out where he was. I started to worry that maybe something had happened to him. After an hour, I walked in the direction of his school, but all the lights were out. Maybe he'd texted me saying he couldn't make it today. I walked home feeling sad and ran straight to my phone. I had no text from him, not even a missed call. I couldn't believe it. He'd stood me up. I tried calling him, but he didn't pick up. I sent him so many messages, and even went onto social media to see if he'd posted anything. Sophie was out with her boyfriend, so I couldn't even speak to her about it. I ended up climbing into bed and crying myself to sleep. I hoped he was okay. The next morning, I didn't feel like going to school. I'd barely slept as I kept waking up to check if he'd texted me. On the bus to school, I was in such a daze, and as we pulled up to school, I climbed off and almost tripped down the stairs. My mind was somewhere else. I pulled my earphones out, and that's when I heard him. Jamie? He was here. But he was shouting at me and calling me a cheater. I didn't understand. A crowd had gathered to watch, and I spotted some of my friends looking shocked. He walked right up to me and said he saw me. He said he'd come to surprise me yesterday. As it was our 6-month anniversary, and he wanted to do something special by picking me up from school. He said he was just getting out of his car when he spotted me walking hand in hand with another guy, and then he saw us kissing. As he said all of this, Sophie and her boyfriend got off the bus and came and stood next to me. Suddenly, Jamie looked like he'd seen a ghost. He went pale, and I thought he was going to faint. Sophie asked if I was okay, and who was the loser shouting at me. I said he was my boyfriend, and then I felt so embarrassed that I hadn't introduced them earlier. None of this would have happened if I hadn't been so jealous of Sophie. I explained to Jamie that this was my twin sister, and that the guy standing with us was her boyfriend, and that obviously he'd got mixed up and seen Sophie yesterday and thought it was me. I started crying, and Jamie came over and apologized and hugged me. But then he looked at me and asked why I hadn't told him I had a twin sister. Luckily, Sophie had walked off to give us privacy as he had asked me that. Otherwise, I think she would have felt pretty hurt. I decided right then and there that from now on, I'd never keep any secrets from my boyfriend or my twin sister ever again. What do you think of this story? Please feel free to share your comments and thoughts in the comment section below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel.